You feel it, don't you? That unsettling tremor, a quiet dread whispering of an inevitable ending. We all ponder the great unknown, seeking answers to the ultimate question. How does it truly conclude? But what if the most intense, uncompromising voice in cinema, a man who has dared to peer into the heart of divine suffering, held a secret? A whispered truth, not from a script, but a direct, raw encounter. Mel Gibson. In a moment of profound faith, he sought the definitive answer. He asked Jesus, how exactly will the world end? And what he heard, what he now reveals, is not just shocking. It's a seismic shift in everything you thought knew about judgment, redemption, and your vital place in the final act. Prepare yourself. This revelation will echo long after the screen fades, transforming understanding. You feel it, don't you? That unsettling tremor, a quiet dread whispering of an inevitable ending. I certainly do. It's a shadow that stretches across the busiest days and settles heavy in the quietest nights. A persistent hum beneath the surface of all our distractions. We all ponder the great unknown, seeking answers to the ultimate question that lingers in the back of our minds. How does it truly conclude? Is it a sudden, cataclysmic event, a slow, fading whisper, or something far more profound and personal than we dare to imagine? This question isn't just a philosophical exercise. It's a primal yearning for certainty in a world that feels increasingly unpredictable. It touches the very core of our existence, demanding a response that transcends mere speculation, begging for a truth that can anchor us. I confess, there are nights when the weight of that uncertainty feels almost unbearable. The global anxieties, the moral decay we witness daily, the incessant drumbeat of conflict and chaos, they all conspire to amplify that gnawing dread. Is this it? Are we truly nearing the precipice? I found myself staring into the darkness, wrestling with a fear that isn't just about my own mortality, but about the very fabric of everything I hold dear. This isn't just my fear. It's a shared human anguish, a collective cry for meaning amidst the madness, a desperate search for a compass in a world that feels increasingly rudderless. Don't you ever feel that longing to understand the ultimate purpose, the final chapter, not out of morbid curiosity, but out of a primal need to prepare, to find peace? It was in one of those vulnerable spaces, a moment of desperate, unscripted prayer, a raw plea from the depths of my being, that the thought surfaced with startling clarity. God, tell me, what is coming? How does it all end? And then, almost like an echo from a distant, powerful voice, I wondered, if anyone could have truly asked, if anyone could possibly understand and convey such a truth, it would be him. A flicker of an image, the intensity in his eyes, the conviction in his voice, the man who dared to bring Christ's suffering to life on screen. This isn't just a question for a theologian, it's a cry for a warrior of faith, a beacon in the encroaching darkness, someone who has truly grappled with the divine. We live in an age of shadows, a truth that presses down on us with an almost physical weight. Look around, or simply look within. Global anxieties ripple through our screens and settle in our hearts. Moral decay seems to fester in the very foundations of society, and the incessant drumbeat of conflict and chaos echoes from every corner of the world. We feel it, don't we? That gnawing dread, a cold tendril of fear that wraps itself around our peace of mind. It's the silent hum beneath the surface of our busiest days, the unsettling whisper that makes us question the stability of everything we hold dear. The very air seems to thicken with uncertainty, and the ground beneath our feet feels less solid than ever before. This isn't just news, it's a visceral experience, a collective gasp. And then comes the whispered question, late at night, when the world is quiet and our defenses are down. Is this it? Are we truly nearing the precipice? This isn't merely a philosophical query. It's a primal scream from the soul, a profound fear of the unknown that touches every one of us, regardless of our path or beliefs. We long for meaning amidst the madness, a desperate search for a compass in a world that feels increasingly rudderless, spinning out of control. Each passing day, each fleeting moment, serves as a stark reminder of our finite time, amplifying the yearning to understand if our lives truly hold eternal significance, if there's a greater purpose beyond the daily grind and the inevitable dust. This existential dread isn't some isolated burden, it's a shared human anguish, a collective weight that transcends borders and cultures. We all, in our own ways, grapple with the looming specter of death, the relentless march of time, and the often unfathomable nature of suffering. We yearn for an ultimate purpose, for the final chapter to reveal a grand design, not out of morbid curiosity, but out of a primal need to prepare, to find an anchoring peace that defies the chaos. Imagine a vast, interconnected tapestry of souls, all silently crying out for an answer that promises not just an end, but a meaningful resolution, a truth that can finally quiet the clamor and provide solace beyond the fleeting headlines. It was one particular night, wasn't it? The outside world, a cacophony of digital noise and relentless headlines, seemed to press in, yet inside my own four walls, a profound, almost suffocating stillness settled. The weight of all those global anxieties, the moral decay I'd been wrestling with, converged into a singular, undeniable pressure on my soul. A personal crisis, yes, but also the overwhelming burden of a world ceaselessly teetering on the precipice. I found myself on my knees, a desperate, raw, unscripted plea tearing from the depths of my being. God, tell me, what is coming? How does it all truly end? And in that vulnerable, aching space, a thought, clear as a bell, pierced through the fear. If anyone could have genuinely asked, if anyone could possibly understand and convey such a truth, it would be him. A vivid flicker of an image in my mind, the intense, unwavering gaze of Mel Gibson, the sheer conviction in his voice, the man who dared to bring Christ's suffering to life on screen. This wasn't just a question for a theologian. It was a desperate cry for a warrior of faith, a beacon in the encroaching darkness, someone who had truly grappled with the divine face to face. After that intense, desperate prayer, a quiet desperation set in, a subtle, almost imperceptible shift from pleading to seeking. My initial response, perhaps predictably, was to turn to what I knew: research. I dove headfirst into ancient texts, scouring prophecies and philosophical treatises, seeking patterns, deciphering cryptic warnings that promised to unlock the secrets of the final days. Online forums, academic papers, documentaries, I consumed them all, hoping to piece together a coherent narrative from the fragments of human wisdom. Conversations with friends, some devout, others skeptical, offered fleeting comfort but no definitive answers. Their theories, their anxieties, their own desperate hopes merely echoed my own, amplifying the collective uncertainty rather than dispelling it. The more I looked, the more the theories contradicted each other, a cacophony of voices shouting different versions of the apocalypse, each one leaving me more bewildered than before. Was this truly all there was? Just conflicting human interpretations, forever trapped in speculation? The rationalizations began to feel like flimsy shields against a coming storm. I tried to intellectualize the dread away, telling myself that the "and" was merely a metaphor for personal transformation or a cyclical societal collapse, something entirely within human control or understanding. But the heart knows what the mind tries to deny. The gnawing unease persisted, a cold metallic taste in the back of my throat, despite all the logical frameworks I attempted to construct. I sought out spiritual leaders, hoping for a soothing balm of certainty, but even their words, however well-intentioned, often felt like echoes of ancient texts, reinterpreted through contemporary fears, rather than a direct pipeline to divine truth. The answers I craved, the profound peace I sought, remained elusive, hidden behind a veil that human intellect seemed incapable of piercing. Why did every pathway I explored lead only to further questions, further doubt, further despair. Every book closed, every conversation ended, every quiet moment of reflection brought me back to the same frustrating impasse. Human wisdom, however vast, felt utterly insufficient. The sheer scale of the end, if it was truly an end, seemed to mock our finite attempts to grasp it. I felt like a child trying to understand the ocean by scooping up a handful of sand. The more I tried to rationalize, to categorize, to understand through conventional means, the more the truth seemed to recede, shimmering just beyond my reach, like a mirage in a desert. This wasn't a problem that could be solved by more data or clever arguments. It demanded something more, something transcendent, a voice that had not merely speculated, but known, a direct witness. It became clear, with a humbling, almost painful clarity, that if there truly was an answer, it had to come from beyond the human sphere, from a source utterly untainted by earthly fear or limited perception. And then, in the profound quiet that followed my desperate plea, when the weight of the world felt too heavy to bear alone, a different kind of vision began to unfold. It wasn't a dream, nor a simple memory, but an imagined dialogue, vivid and real, as if he stood before me. I saw him not amidst the clamor of a premiere, but against a rugged, windswept landscape, perhaps a rocky outcrop overlooking a vast, ancient sea, mirroring the very Galilee where profound truths were once whispered. The air itself seemed to hum with an unseen energy, a palpable sense of history and gravitas. This was Mel Gibson, yes, but transformed. Not the director, not the actor, but the spiritual mentor, the warrior of faith I had called upon in my deepest need. His silhouette against the fading light was imposing, yet imbued with an almost sacred stillness, a silent invitation into a truth far older than time. His gaze, intense and piercing, met mine across the imagined distance, and in those eyes I saw not judgment, but a profound, weary wisdom, as if he carried the burdens of ages within them. He didn't need me to speak my question aloud. He knew it, felt it, for it was the same burning inquiry that had once consumed him. "You ask about the end?" he began, his voice a low rumble that seemed to emanate not just from his throat, but from the very stones beneath our feet, carrying the weight of ancient prophecies and countless human anxieties. It was a sound like two massive rocks grinding together, raw and undeniable, yet strangely comforting in its sheer authority. He paused, letting the profoundness of the question hang in the crisp air, acknowledging the universal dread that had led me, and perhaps you, to this very moment of seeking. I asked him, he continued, the words, a confession, a revelation of his own intense, unvarnished faith. I wrestled with that very question, just as you wrestle now, just as countless souls have wrestled throughout history. His eyes held a flicker of that past struggle, of the profound encounter he described. And what he revealed to me, it wasn't a blueprint of destruction, a terrifying schedule of cataclysmic events designed to instill fear. The wind seemed to stir around us, carrying the scent of dry earth and distant rain. No, he affirmed, his voice softening, yet gaining an even greater depth. It was a mirror and a promise. With those words, he became more than a man. He became the conduit, the vessel through whom a divine truth, forged in his own spiritual crucible and now echoing Christ's own, was about to be unveiled, forever shifting my understanding of the final act. He leaned forward, his eyes holding the weight of centuries, a quiet intensity that seemed to penetrate beyond my sight into the very core of my soul. First, he began, his voice resonating like a deep church bell, a sound that both shook and soothed. He said, "The world does not end as much as it transforms. It is not annihilation, but a divine recreation." I felt a gasp catch in my throat, a sudden lightness replacing the crushing dread. "Imagine," Mel continued, his gaze sweeping across the imagined rugged landscape, "a crucible, not a tomb, where all that is corruptible is purged for what is eternal. It's a refining fire, not a consuming one, burning away the dross to reveal the pure gold beneath. This isn't a final, terrifying collapse, but a profound, sacred metamorphosis, an ultimate renewal of all things. Do you truly believe a loving God would simply obliterate his creation without purpose? The wind seemed to whisper the answer, carrying the scent of cleansing rain. Then he paused, allowing the revelation to settle. He revealed, the final judgment is not a distant, abstract event. It begins within you every day. Every choice, every act of love or malice, casts its eternal shadow. Your heart is the first courtroom. The words struck me with the force of a physical blow, yet they were delivered with such profound compassion, not condemnation. It wasn't about a grand, external reckoning, but an intimate, internal audit. Think of it, he seemed to imply, as a continuous unfolding of your true self, laid bare by the light of your own actions. Every kindness, every harsh word, every secret thought, they are not forgotten. They are the very threads weaving the tapestry of your eternal being, revealing who you truly are, moment by moment. Isn't that a far more terrifying, yet ultimately empowering truth than any external thunderbolt? He taught. Mel's voice softened, yet its impact remained undiminished. The trials you face are not arbitrary. They are invitations to purification, to participate in my sacrifice, to forge a spirit unbreakable by earthly fire. Embrace the cross and find strength. This wasn't a call to seek suffering, but to understand its profound redemptive potential. I saw images flash in my mind, moments of personal grief, of inexplicable pain, times when I felt utterly abandoned. But now, through his words, they were reframed not as punishments, but as opportunities. Harsh, yes, but purposeful. Each challenge, each heartache, becomes a chisel, shaping us, refining us, preparing us for something greater. Can you truly deny the strength that has grown from your deepest wounds, the resilience forged in the fires of your personal battles? And then, Mel's voice resonated with an almost palpable warmth. He emphasized, when all is stripped away, only love remains. The measure of your life will be the depth of your compassion, the breadth of your forgiveness, the purity of your charity. This is the gold that endures. The air around us seemed to warm, imbued with an ethereal glow, as if the very essence of divine love was being poured into the space. All the worldly achievements, the fleeting accolades, the material possessions we so desperately grasp, they are but dust in the wind. What truly lasts? The hand held in kindness, the words spoken in comfort, the forgiveness offered when it seemed impossible. This is the currency of eternity, the only true wealth. What greater legacy could any soul leave behind than a life lived in selfless, unconditional love? But he also warned. Mel's expression grew solemn, his gaze piercing the imagined distance. The true battle is not against flesh and blood, but against the darkness that seeks to corrupt the soul. Guard your heart, for from it flows the wellspring of life or death. Be vigilant, for the enemy whispers close. This wasn't about external threats, but the insidious whispers of doubt, pride, resentment, and fear that can take root within. The real struggle is an internal one, a constant vigilance against the forces that seek to alienate us from our truest selves, from divine grace. It's a daily war waged in the quiet chambers of our hearts, a battle for integrity and purity of spirit. Are you truly aware of the subtle ways darkness tries to infiltrate your thoughts, to poison your intentions, to steer you from the path of light? Yet, in that same breath, Mel's voice filled with an overwhelming tenderness, a profound relief. He promised, no sin is too great, no fall too deep, that my mercy cannot reach. The door to repentance is always open, even in the 11th hour. Turn to me and find grace. And with this, the crushing weight of past mistakes, of perceived failures began to lift. It was a balm for the wounded soul, a radiant hope in the face of despair. The path back is never truly closed, never utterly lost. Even when you feel most broken, most unworthy, the divine hand is extended, always ready to pull you from the abyss, he affirmed. Mel concluded, his voice a steady anchor in a churning sea. In the darkest night, hold fast to hope. For I am the light that no darkness can overcome, and my return is certain, though its hour is hidden. Trust in my promise. Finally, Mel's gaze returned to mine, filled with a quiet urgency. He clarified, do not seek signs out of terror, but out of vigilance. They are guideposts, calling you to awaken, to draw closer, to be ready, not to cower in fear, he commanded. Listen to the whisper of the Spirit within you. It is your true compass, guiding you through the storms of this age to the shores of eternity. Let it illuminate your path, and he concluded, your life, with all its joys and sorrows, is woven into the grand tapestry of my divine plan. Live it with purpose, for it has eternal weight. Every soul matters. The words hung in the air, a profound benediction, a call to awaken to the extraordinary significance of our ordinary lives. And then, the ultimate truth, spoken through the resonant voice of Mel Gibson, echoing Christ's own, struck me like a thunderclap in the stillness of that imagined space. The world ends, not with a whimper of despair, nor merely with a bang of destruction, he declared, his gaze unwavering, but with a asterisk, behold, a glorious, terrifying, and utterly redemptive culmination. The initial dread, the unsettling tremor that had shadowed my days and haunted my nights, suddenly began to dissipate, replaced by a profound sense of awe. What I had perceived as a curse, this inescapable march towards an unknown abyss, was now unveiled as a divine unfolding, a majestic crescendo. Every illusion I had clung to, every superficial comfort, felt as though it was shattering, not into fragments of fear, but into shards of pure, unblemished light, revealing a purpose far grander than I had ever dared to conceive. This wasn't an ending to be feared, but a threshold to be crossed, an ultimate invitation. This was not simply a cessation, but a revelation of truth so profound it demanded every fiber of my being, every soul's allegiance. It was the moment, he continued, when the wheat would be eternally separated from the chaff, not by a capricious hand, but by the very essence of divine light making all things manifest. The fear of external judgment, the anxiety over a cataclysmic impersonal reckoning, dissolved as I understood it was a divine reckoning, a new dawn where every hidden thing is made manifest. The suffering, the trials, the weaknesses I had lamented, they were not arbitrary punishments, but the very instruments of this purification, preparing me for this ultimate transparency. Can you feel the weight lifting? The catharsis of knowing that even the darkest moments serve a sacred, transformative purpose, guiding us towards an undeniable clarity. And in that new dawn, Mel's voice promised, your true self stands revealed before the eternal light. My initial problem, that gnawing dread of an inevitable ending, was not just answered, but utterly reframed. It was not a weakness to fear the end, but a human yearning for purpose, a divine sign calling me to awaken. This profound insight, whispered across centuries, transformed the looming shadow into a beacon. It became a call to live with an eternal purpose. Now, nocte sete, noctes, indures, noctes, understanding that every breath, every act of love, holds immeasurable weight within the grand tapestry of creation. This isn't just about how the world concludes. It's about how you begin anew, how your life, in its entirety, is an indispensable part of His divine plan, destined not for oblivion, but for glorious, eternal revelation. This profound revelation, echoing from that sacred encounter Mel Gibson described, isn't meant to instill fear. It's a profound liberation. It frees us from the trivial anxieties that shackle our spirits and the self-imposed prisons of this fleeting world. Imagine, if you will, living each day with a newfound courage, forgiving without reservation, loving without condition, and seeking justice with unwavering resolve. This is your invitation to strip away the superficial, to reconnect with the sacred spark within you and the divine beauty all around. In every single moment, you are gifted the power to consciously choose light over shadow, mercy over judgment, faith over paralyzing fear. This isn't just theory. It's an actionable call to awaken. Can you feel the immense peace that comes from making such a radical, conscious choice, letting it ignite a purpose that transcends this temporary existence and truly anchors your soul? As the echoes of these divine truths settle, a profound peace descends, not a stillness of ending, but the vibrant quietude of a new dawn breaking over the landscape of your soul. The unsettling tremor, once a whisper of dread, now transforms into the gentle pulse of eternal purpose, a compass needle firmly pointing towards a horizon bathed in everlasting light. Imagine your life, no longer a frantic dash towards an unknown abyss, but a deliberate, sacred pilgrimage, each step imbued with the profound weight of divine intention. The shadows recede, revealing the intricate, beautiful tapestry of existence, where every thread of love, every act of courage, every moment of grace shines with an immutable, golden light. Let this understanding be your anchor, your unwavering guide, as you step forward, not in fear, but with the radiant conviction that your story, intertwined with his, is destined, not for oblivion, but for an endless, glorious revelation. As these profound revelations settle within your spirit, transforming the way you perceive the end, I invite you to consider their impact. This isn't just a story, it's an invitation to a deeper understanding, a call to awaken to the eternal significance of your own life. Perhaps you're reading this in the quiet of dawn, contemplating the day ahead, or under the vast canvas of a starlit night, searching for answers. Wherever you are, at whatever moment, know that this shared journey of seeking truth connects us all. What resonates most deeply with you from these whispered truths? Where in this vast, searching world are you right now? And what time is it for you as these words echo in your heart? Share your reflections below, and let us weave our individual awakenings into a collective tapestry of hope and understanding.